welcome to my Firefly solo playthrough. It's just about to begin. I'm not really going to go over a lot of the rules. I will just explain them as we go along. Basically, this is the board. It's a very big, nicely done board. We have the Alliance cruiser in the center on Londinium. I am starting the game. You can start anywhere you want. I'm starting on Ariel, and I'll explain why in a minute because of the jobs that I have. And up here in the corner where the Firefly logo is the Reaver Cutter, and we don't want to run into him. So a couple of things on this playthrough. What I'm going to do is there are cards that say the player on your right or left, I forget, move the Alliance cruiser one space or the Reaver Cutter one space. So what I'm going to do for this playthrough, because it's solo, obviously there's going to be no player on my right or left, I will be moving the cruiser or the Reaver Cutter closer to my Firefly. Basically, they're trying to hunt me down. So that makes the game a little more interesting. Otherwise, the cruiser and the Reaver don't really do a whole lot on the board, except you just randomly move them out of your way. So I'm going to have them actively pursuing me, making the game a little bit more difficult. And I'll just tip the camera up a little bit here. Up at the top, I have, these are the 5 worlds on the board that you can buy goods at, and I've laid out what is there. So that's where that's going to be taking place. I probably won't be zooming in on that at all. I have the Alliance space cards, the Border space cards, the Aim to Misbehave cards. These will all become clear as we play the game. And now I'm just going to go over to the ship and captain and crew and see what we have to begin the game with. So let's just take a look at that. Okay, so to the side of the playboard, which is here, I've set up basically my Firefly. I'm going to be playing the Bonanza. You start off with 2 parts and 6 fuel. Become obvious what they're for once we start playing the game. And you start the game with 3,000 in cash, and it's actually paper money in the game. Pretty good quality stuff, not too bad, interesting. You start off with a generic drive core, which when you do a full burn, you spend a fuel, you can move as many spaces as shown here, and it's 5 in this case. So let's take a look. Our captain is going to be Monty, and Monty is a soldier and a mechanic. He's moral. And he's a smuggler extraordinaire. It says when you complete a smuggling job, take $500. So he gets extra money. He has 2 gun icons and a tech icon on him. Now they're used for passing tests. Also part of our crew we have Safran. Yes, Safran, and she's got the grifter. She's companion. Yeah, one of the probably the most fun characters in the Firefly show. Anyway. She has a couple of negotiation symbols and a tech symbol. And she's deceptive. And it means if Bridget or Yolanda are hired by anyone, remove Safran from play. Well, as a solo player, I won't be hiring the other ones. But in a multiplayer game, that could happen. And then the crew member would change hands. Now, of course, I have Jane. And he's public relations. He may carry 3 gear. So, yes, sarcastic. And he has 2 gun icons. A good fighter, of course. And lastly, on the crew, I picked Wash. He's got 1 tech ability, 1 negotiation, and he adds +1 to the fuel burn range. So our drive core lets us go 5. Wash lets us actually move 6 spaces. Now, how did I come about picking these characters? In the solo game, unlike the multiplayer game, you get to choose 4 crew members of your choice from any of the decks. I basically randomly took out 3 of the top. I shuffled the decks, took 3 off of each planet. So there's the Space Bazaar, Osiris Shipworks, Persephone, Regina, and Silverhold. And from the crew members that showed up on the top 3 cards of each one of the decks, that's where I chose who was available. So basically what I'm saying in the verse that I'm playing here, those characters were immediately available. The other ones are buried somewhere in the deck, and I'll have to go to those locations and do some shopping if I want to find other crew members. Okay, probably what I'm going to mention right off the bat is the solo game is not, in my opinion, the best. It's okay for learning the rules, and you see how to pass tests and how things operate. The multiplayer game, I think, would be a much better game. But anyway, we'll take a look at the solo player game. I'll just do a playthrough of that. It shouldn't take too long. And we have to look at the solo player setup card. So basically the setup is following normal rules, which means 3,000 gold, 2 parts, 6 fuel, and all of that interesting stuff. It says, in addition, there it is, we're selecting your leader. You can select up to 4 crew cards, totaling up to 1,000 value. So mine totals 800. I couldn't take any more crew because everyone else that was crew available were 300 or more. So that wouldn't work. So here we go. And then and you place 20 disgruntled tokens. They're timers. So I just put them in a cup here. And you basically have 20 fly actions in the game. And I'll explain that in a little bit here. And the solo game. So in the solo game, a turn consists of doing each of the 4 actions no more than once. And whenever you take a fly action, your turn is over and a new turn begins. And each time you take a fly action, you must remove one of the disgruntled tokens from the bank. And then when all 20 game tokens are gone, you can take your final turn and you may not take a fly action on your turn. So what I'm choosing to do, because I'm playing Monty, I randomly selected him, is I'm going to do the ugly, which is no rest for the wicked. And it means successfully proceed past 20 or more misbehaved cards and set the misbehaved cards aside when you proceed to pass the track to track your progress. Basically, we need to succeed at 20 misbehaved cards. And we'll get into that when we start playing the game as well. So, I guess without further ado, this is sort of the, this will just be the introduction and showing you the board setup. I'll get into more details as things happen. One thing I should mention, I guess there are 4 actions that you can take in the game. The 4 actions you can take, getting back to actions, is you can fly, and you can buy, you can deal, and you can work. So basically what fly means is you either mosey, which you move 1 space on the board and you don't have to have any encounters, or you do a full burn action. You can move up to your drive core speed and you have an encounter in each location as you fly, and we'll get into that as it happens. Buy action is when you are on a named location like the Space Bazaar or Cyrus Shipworks. You can look through 3 cards, either from the discard or draw new ones off the top, or a combination thereof, and buy 2 of them if you want. So that's the buy action. You can also buy fuel and parts at those locations. A deal action is you look at the different contacts, and I have the contacts all set up here. There's 5 of them. There's Amandul, Patience, Badger, Nishka, and Harkin. And you can take a look at 3 of their jobs. And you can pick 2 of those. And the last action available to us is, of course, work, and that's working a job. And basically the job tells you how to work it. So I have 3 jobs to start the game with. So I might as well go over those quickly and kind of explain a little bit. This job here is from Amandul. And so basically I picked 1 job from each of the 5 contacts and chose to use 3 of them. So that's how I started my game. And basically it says it's a legal job. This is an requirement to do the job. Tells you what you need to do. It gives you a payout when you complete it and a companion bonus. I have Safran in my crew. She's a companion. I'm actually starting the game in Ariel strategically so that I can do this job first thing. And next we have a job from Patience, and it's called Henpecked Badger. Basically I have to go to Badger's homeworld, misbehave twice, and then cover my tracks. And it has a pretty good payout, 3,000. It also has a companion bonus, which is nice. And the last job I took, and of course I'm going for the win condition, which is I have to have proceeded past 20 misbehave cards. This one's got 4 on it, and this is open the bank vault to get paid. I believe, yeah, this is a Nishka. He's usually the highest paying and some of the hardest, nastiest missions or jobs. So those are the 3 jobs I'll be starting with. I think I've kind of covered everything off. Again, next time I'll get into, I don't even know if I want to call it turn 1, because what I find with the solo game, the turns are very bizarre because you have counters. You have these 20 counters, and every time you do a move action, you spend a counter. But your turn, you're only allowed to do each of the 4 actions once. But what I have found a couple of playthroughs is sometimes you'll be at a world, you need to work a job, and you botch it, which means you're just sitting at the world, you want to work it again, and you don't spend a fuel token, so the timer doesn't tick down, and then I guess you're into another turn. So turns as a solo game are a little bit odd, I find. So I just need to remember every time I either mosey or do a full burn, I need to spend one of those timer tokens. Anyway, we'll see how all that happens when I begin, so join me next time for, I guess, episode 1. Maybe I won't call it turns. I'll call it episode 1 of the solo Firefly playthrough. Again, we're trying to pass 20 misbehave cards before our timers run out. Okay, join me next time for episode 1.